Mr. Mayor, 7 o'clock.
Thank you very much. I'd like to call the public hearing to order regarding the Ordinance 2106. It's a sale of some property that Irmo has control of. Anybody here to speak on that public comment? Nobody here to talk about that? Okay. Call the public hearing to a close. I'd like to call the regular council meeting of July 20th, 2021 to order. Nobody signed up on a list to talk, so I guess y'all is here to see us do what we do today, and that's okay. If you did want to speak to the council, well, we'll just wait and call you up after the second part when we're done, then you'll have to sign up. I'd like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Councilman Eric Sickinger.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, pray that we make good decisions that benefit the town and that we hold ourselves respectfully and do good work that glorifies you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. We all received the minutes from the June 15th, 21st, and 29th meetings electronically. Had a chance to look them over. Anybody has any changes to those minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion to accept the June 15th, 2021 meeting?
So moved.
Mr. Sickinger, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Bush. All in favor, say aye.
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 The minutes from the June 21st, 2021 meeting, is there a motion to accept it?
So moved.
So moved, Mr. Y'all gotta slow down a little bit.
He's a little quick.
So moved, Mr. Danielson, and Mr. Sickinger seconded. Okay, thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
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 In the June 29th, 2021 meeting minutes, is there a motion to accept those?
So moved.
Ms. Condon, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bush. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. It's unanimous. Reporting Senate Commissions, administrative briefing. Mr. Brown has given us an administrative briefing. I've looked it over. Mr. Brown, are there any changes to the administrative briefing?
Yes, I'd like to add one thing. There's a change to the agenda. Item 10, sub-item J, the date should read 24 and 25 September for the orchestra. Little typo.
September 24 and 25?
Yes, sir.
Point of order on that. Will we need to amend that? Or is that just a administrative thing? Okay.
No motion or anything needed.
When we get down to there, we can make a motion to that, okay? All right. Are there any changes for Mr. Brown? I have one. Lexington Medical Center's, the signage that they're working on. I got an email that they're ready to start doing that, and they need WIT to coordinate with them to.
Yeah, I've been talking with the lady in charge.
I'm sorry.
I've been talking with the lady in charge.
Okay, so she's ready to start that process?
In August.
I think they want to do it sooner than that. You might want
We're
to.
ready for it. We cut all the bushes back. I'm ready for it. She come out tomorrow.
Okay. So,
I'll call her again tomorrow.
that would be a fantastic thing to do. Thank you. All right. Any other things for Mr. Brown? Thank you. Okay. Any Newtown businesses? Mr. Sickinger, do we have any Newtown businesses coming into the great hamlet of Irmo?
Town of Irmo, yeah.
Town of Irmo.
We certainly do. I got a lot here. And we do this in recognition and appreciation for them registering for a business license. We've got arrangements for all seasons, Beyond Candles and Gifts, Black Forest Bratwurst, Hair by Megan, Heather Johnson, J.A. Signings, Kelly's Trucking, Nails by Jotana, Palmetto Asphalt Ceiling, Parking Lot Medic, Rima Healing and Wellness, Speak It Into Existence, and the Amelia Robinson Team.
Cool. Well, thank you, Mr. Sickinger, and thank you for all these new businesses coming into the town of Irmo. We appreciate that very much. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, sir. Where does it say, we have a need for an executive session on a contractual matter?
Doesn't have it
Well, it has to. It has to.
on.
Okay.
It ends actually at 11. On my handout.
Okay. We need to add one, you say?
Yes,
Okay, on,
executive session
on a
on
con-
contractual matters.
oh,
Yes.
okay. So you want to make the motion? Because I don't know what the contractual matter is.
Yeah.
Unless you,
Just tell me.
oh, that? Okay.
I make the motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Ms. Condo made a motion for adding an executive session to the agenda, and it's been properly moved and second by Ms. Condon and Ms. Bush. Is there any discussion on that? And this is for a contractual matter, I believe you're saying, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any discussion, council? Seeing none? All right, will the clerk call a roll, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Ms. Condom,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yay.
and Mayor Walker.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Are there any more amendments to the agenda? Seeing none. Consideration communications. There's a couple. Meet me down here, please, in the front, council. Thank you. Well, thank you, Irmo PD. I wanted to recognize, actually it's three of y'all, but one is on a hiatus in New York. Yes, sir. Enjoying hot dogs, I guess. That sounds about right. I wanted to read this letter that I'm writing to all three of these officers and to the chief of police to put in their personnel file. The letter reads as follows. Dear Sergeant Hughie, Larrabee, and Neville, right? Neville, thank you. This letter is to formally recognize your dedication to providing quality service as Irmo police officers in the town. I was made aware of an incident where IPD received a noise complaint about loud music after the music was turned down, and the family offered the officers some food because they were celebrating the homeowner's 60th birthday. IPD initially got the noise down and left. While walking back to their vehicles, Corporal Larrabee stated, "Man, that food sure smelled good, and I would love a hot dog." Sergeant Hughie told them, "Hey, let's go back and do some community policing." By the time they left the residence, the kids that were at this party that were initially terrified of these officers coming into their house were leaving, giving them hugs and good praises. This is what makes us the greatest town in America to live in. Policing with compassion, always having will always have a better outcome. Taking time to know our community is the kind of community policing that I like to promote as the mayor of Irmo, South Carolina. Thank you, Officer Hughie, Larrabee, and Neville, for going above and beyond your duties in showing our community how great the Irmo Police Force is. In service to you, I remain. Mayor Barry Walker and Chief Dennis has a copy of these letters. I want to thank y'all very much. Y'all can give them a big round of applause, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
And Larrabee,
Yes, sir. Thank you very
and you make sure that Emma gets that.
Yes, sir.
And now, don't get in trouble. That's your get out of jail free card, okay? No, I'm kidding. Thank y'all very much. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a little terrified myself.
That's why they got the hot dogs. See? You guys want to say anything?
I just want to say thank you very much for acknowledging this and appreciating it. We do appreciate it. I think it's fun. I love this job. I've always wanted to do it, and communicating positively with the community is always really fun, and of course getting some hot dogs out of it too. So thank you very much, Mayor, and everybody.
I just wanted to say we truly appreciate y'all's support. Again, we know what's going on with law enforcement. We know a lot of people is not a fan of law enforcement, but I can truly say, as working for Irmo PD, that the citizens of Irmo, they support us. And we do see that, and we truly appreciate that. So that's why when it comes to community policing, that's why it's important to connect with our community. And again, we truly appreciate y'all support. We do see it. Just keep it up, and we're going to keep doing what we do.
Thank you. Thank y'all very much. All right. All right. We have the the checks. I have the honor to get the scholarship recipients from the 2019 Okra Strut. Are the members of the Okra Strut committee here? Okay. Landon Williams, Ferguson Stroman, come forward if you're here. Landon Williams and Ferguson Stroman. You are?
It's Grant. I don't know why my middle name is on there.
Which one?
We want to make it real for him.
Stroman. It's Grant Stroman.
Grant Stroman?
Yes, sir.
Oh, so you wrote it wrong on here too. Do we have the checks for him? Oh, okay. Well, let me recognize this young man. He is the 2019 recipient of the Orchestra Scholarship Fund in the amount of $2,000, who we're sending directly to his university, which is South Carolina, USC. Cool. Well, Grant will, I hope that $2,000 will get you started on a career, maybe getting into politics, taking my place or anybody's place up here. But more importantly, thank you for being a smart young gentleman, and we hope that that money will get you kick-started in your career. And congratulations again. They said the check's already been mailed to your university, so you're good to go. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, Council. Okay. Further communications. On August 12th, 2021, I would like to do a groundbreaking for the Rawls Creek Park project. Does anybody have a problem with council on that date? August 12th. That's Thursday, August 12th. I know you'll be back, Ms. Condom.
Yep, sure.
Mr. Bush, Mr. Danielson? Nope, everybody's shaking their head in the positive. August 12th, 2021, 11 o'clock. And we'll put the word out. This is the groundbreaking for the Rawls Creek Park project, which is known as the Dog Park, Community Garden, and Skate Park. That's what we're gonna have the groundbreaking for on that, official groundbreaking. Okay. Presentation by citizens on any agenda items. We don't have anybody signed up on that right now, but is there anybody that wants to talk to us about anything we're going to talk about on our agenda? Any of the action items? Any of the action items on our agenda? Is there somebody wants to talk? Did you want to talk? Come on.
Good evening. On behalf of the Community Bake Off, thank you for allowing us to use one of your rooms.
Oh, excuse me, Ms. Evans, this is the stuff that you come at the end of the meeting. This is for stuff that's on our agenda that we're going to be talking about.
Oh, okay.
So if you can wait and hold that thought, I'll call you up at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
All right, is there anybody that wants to talk about action items on our agenda? Come on up. Just give us your name, please.
My name's Ed Riley, and this regards to item K under 10. The person who owns that business license hired an attorney to be here, and I think she got lost on the way. She is here. I'm sorry. I never saw her, and I just called her office, so I thought you were getting to the point where she needed to speak. I was just going to say, she's back there? Okay, thank you. I'm sorry to bother you.
Okay. Anybody else? Seeing none, we will begin with the meeting then. This is the second final reading on unfinished business of Ordinance 2106. We just had that public hearing about that. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Sickinger.
Yeah, it's a tiny little strip of land. Pretty straightforward to me. I'm in favor.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes, sir. It's a no-brainer, so I think we just go with it, and it'll be used the same way it's being used, so there's really no change.
Okay. Mr. Bush? Ms. Condon? Okay. Will the clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Ms. Condom?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yay.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes, thank you. New business, first reading of ordinance 2107, and that's amending the Irmo Town Code for the standardized taxing. Is there a motion for that first reading?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Sickinger, I heard Ms. Condom, okay. Mr. Sickinger?
I'm in favor.
Okay. Ms. Condon?
I'm in favor.
All right, does anybody want to elaborate on what it is? Mr. Bush?
No, we discussed this at length, so
When?
about a year ago.
Oh, okay. You think they may, all right. Mr. Danielson?
I'm good.
Everybody's good. Okay, we're changing, okay, thank you, Mr. Danielson. Thank you, Mr. Bush. We're updating our building codes in this and hopefully bringing it up to date from,
This one here is the business license.
I'm sorry, business license. Right. Complete the fee schedule, I'm sorry, you're right. Okay. Is there a sidebar? Is there, okay. Will the clerk read your roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Ms. Condom?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yay.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. All right. First reading of ordinance 2108 to amend the Irmo Town Codes. This is the mandatory requirements for pools that have fencing around them. Is there a motion for approval?
I move.
Mr. Bush, is there a second?
I will second.
Mr. Danielson, thank you. Mr. Bush, you want to add to this what we're talking about here?
Yeah, this is just bringing us up a century from the older regular, I mean, so this is the way it should be. I'm not in favor of more ordinances, but this one, swimming pools, we've got a couple complaints of unfenced pools or stagnant pools, things like that, and we need to keep after them. So that's what that's about.
Okay, well, okay, Mr. Danielson?
Yes, we need to bring this thing up to code, and it's correct, Councilman Bush. I've got the same phone calls, extremely emotional, and when I investigated the next morning, it's very true. We've got open pools with no fencing, and it's just way too dangerous in these neighborhoods. So that's why I'm in favor of this.
So, okay. Mr. Sickinger?
Yeah, my understanding is this ensures that if you have a pool, at some point there's got to be a gate around it, even if it's just your backyard and there's a gate around and there's a fence around the backyard. Mr. Bush, am I correct in understanding that?
Yeah, the fence has to be around.
Talking to the mic there.
The fence has to be around the pool with a latchable gate to protect from young children that, may wander through there. If you own a house with a pool and you're off at work, you don't know what's going on there during the day. It just kind of takes away some of the attractive nuisance.
Sure. So the question I'm going to get is, I already have a fence for my backyard. The pool's in the backyard. Is this going to work, or do I have to build a whole new fence around my pool?
So if it meets the 48 minimum height and they have a latchable gate on the yard, then that covers it.
Cool. I'm just clarifying for the residents. Thank you.
Mr. Bush?
I might add, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I might add that if they don't have a fence, they're going to have to put one up.
Ms. Condon?
I thought most homeowner liability insurance would make you do this.
Yeah, I did too.
I guess there's exceptions, but I really thought you had to do it. because of not just small children, but dogs, you know, any number of things. So it's a safety measure more than anything else.
Okay. And this will clean these pools up too?
I guess, so one of the issues was in the past, a long time ago, when, you know, the houses set like vacant for periods of time and nobody was responsible to maintain the pool, and it would basically become a mosquito hatchery. And if you're in a condensed neighborhood, that, I mean, it becomes a bit of a nuisance. So that's the point behind that.
So we can issue tickets now?
You can issue an abatement notice.
Abatement
No,
notice,
you
right.
need to correct this problem and then go from there.
Even the vacant houses?
Yeah, I mean, like, so in the olden times, it was like bank-owned homes and things like that, and the banks just didn't even do much property maintenance, but now we have a way to inspire them to maintain.
Okay, at $11,100 a pop? $11.87? Okay. Great. Any more conversation? Any more discussion? Great. Will the clerk read a roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Ms. Condom?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yay.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Thank you. Item C, approval to award the Suncoast Construction for damaged sidewalks in Lexington County portion of town. Is there a motion for approval of this contract?
So moved.
Ms. Sickinger, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Condon? Mr. Sickinger?
Yeah, to clarify what's not on there is that this did go out to bid, and we did receive quotes from a number of vendors, and this was the best and covered the most. Just because that's, if I'm just a regular resident reading this, just to clarify. And it's great to repair some sidewalks, and it's reimbursed, so that works for me.
Okay. Ms. Condon?
It's a safety thing too. It could be dangerous to have a crack because a crack could get bigger. And I think it's common sense. Let's do it.
Okay. Mr. Danielson?
I agree. I'm good with it.
Okay. And Mr. Bush?
Need to keep the town looking good, so fresh sidewalks where we have broken ones is good.
Okay, great. Is there a motion, well, will the clerk read a roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Ms. Condom?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yay.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Okay. Item D, approval of contract with Gaddis Per Audio, an amount of $10,000 to upgrade and repair our entire sound system. Staff put that on, and I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mrs. Condon. For those that are at home right now and you're watching this video live, you might hear different levels in our voices on the microphone. As you saw me go down front here, my lavalier mic didn't work, so we had to go to plan B. We hope to fix all of that and make it consistent across the board. I think this is something we need to do. We haven't upgraded that system in a while. I think, at least 8 years. Technology has changed. And as you know, I'm one that like to run things until the ground, until it doesn't work no more, but unfortunately we can't do that all the time. So this is something we need to do. Ms. Condon?
I agree. It's been quite, is it 8 or 10? It's been a while.
It's been a while, almost 10 years probably, yeah.
Well, the speakers are 24 years old.
Well, there you have it. But we need to keep that up to date. Not that what any of us say is that important, but our citizens have a right to hear it, whether it is or not.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Danielson?
I'm not in favor, but I'll go with everybody else. I know the system needs work, so I'd rather this money go to one of our stricken businesses, but I'm okay with it.
All right, Mr.
Sickinger.
Yeah. Sickinger.
So this was a request from staff. Did this go out to bid?
No, this was single source because these are the guys that put the equipment in the first place, and they're the ones that maintain it.
Okay.
Mr. Bush.
I feel like my microphone is working. Currently.
It is, but in here, but when you get on the video and you hear it at home, it may not be, or it may not be leveled out.
Well, I trust the staff knows that we need to fix this, so I'm gonna.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, can I have?
Any more comments, Mr. Sickinger?
Yeah, thank you. To be clear, I don't, $10,000, I mean, there are definitely some upgrades that need to be made, and I think we've seen that over the last couple of weeks with Councilman Bush hopping up and changing levels and whatnot to make stuff work, and there are certainly issues, but $10,000 is a lot of money to spend without asking someone else how much they would pay, how much they would charge to do it, so I can't be in favor of spending $10,000 without getting multiple bids.
Well, it's not a matter of spending $10,000. You have to understand that we have a complicated system that has been installed already by this company. And if we get a new company in here, it might, I don't know what the price would be.
I get that.
But the new company may have to redo half of the stuff that this guy's already put in.
I get that. This is taxpayer money that we're spending, and we shouldn't spend any money that we haven't put out to bid for $10,000.
Okay, so you want to put it out to bid before we spend it, or? Well, we'll put it out to vote. I'm sorry, you have any more comments?
I was just going to say that I've never had anybody tell me they couldn't hear me.
I don't need this mic.
Okay, good. I do, because people at home can't hear you. They can hear you in here.
They can hear you, though. It's fine. Mr. Brown, what is your spending limit?
Mine's only 5,000. That's why council's.
Okay, got it.
But just to clarify, there's no rush for this. The mayor's been having trouble with his stuff, and then there's no rush. We can definitely bid it out, but like you said, we may be getting somebody else to place all the equipment to get it to work the way they want. But that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Can we delay this to one more council meeting? Yeah, let's vote. Huh?
Yeah. We're gonna either vote this up or down, and we'll see it again. Okay. Any more comments? Clerk, read the roll, please.
Mr. Bush?
Nay.
Ms. Condom?
Nay.
Mr. Danielson?
Nay.
Mr. Sickinger?
No.
And Mayor Walker?
I couldn't hear you, Mr. Danielson. What did you say? No. Thank you. Approval to transfer the remaining, number DE, approval to transfer the remaining $125,000 of the obligated funds to the Irmo Future Growth. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Let Mr. Danielson say.
Oh, okay, his mic is working. Danielson, Mr. Danielson, second. Thank you. All right, Mr. Danielson?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, we are getting multiple applications, and I hope somebody gets this, but I might be showing my age again. In the infamous words of Richard Dreyfuss in Jaws, we are going to need a bigger boat. There's a lot of anticipation for the money, so we need to get that 125 transferred over so we can get some money out here in the beginning of August to some of these businesses that have been stricken pretty hard.
Okay, and you're saying that the initial amount of 125 that you guys already had, and I thought you already had the other 125, apparently you had it committed, but it hasn't been formally given to y'all?
Correct. We only have the 125 in the checking account, and we're going to need the other.
Have you spent any money out of that yet? Have y'all spent
No.
any?
We'll give until July 30th for everybody to put in their applications.
For the business grant?
For the business grant, that's correct. And we already have multiple applications in for the nonprofits.
Okay, I think we need to separate the nonprofit grant from the business grants in the sense that those numbers are a lot higher. And I think that that money needs to come directly from the ARPA money that we haven't received yet. This money is coming directly out of our general fund right now. And if you don't mind, I know the application is online right now for the nonprofit grants right now. And I believe it has a closing date of the 30th of July. We need to.
Correct.
It's been updated?
Mr. Brown requested I update it today
To what?
to no date.
We didn't put a date on that.
Okay,
We can close it whenever.
right.
So we run out of money or we don't know what the ARPA's gonna have.
I understand, but that money should come straight from ARPA, the ARPA grant money, as opposed to what we're doing now is putting money from the general fund into that program.
That's correct.
So that's why I want to separate those two. So all those people that have the nonprofit applications, please could submit them. Only got one right now, right? We got two? Two? Okay, so we need to separate those two. Get the people with the nonprofits to go ahead and submit those applications. And if Mr. Danielson doesn't get a bigger boat pretty soon, he's gonna have to cut back on the business ones, right?
That's correct. And we have a couple that are sizable requests. We're not going to get a boat near big enough for that, but most of them are in a range that I think we can, can't promise everybody's going to get 100%, but they're going to
Right.
it will have a significant impact on their needs.
And you will have a report back to us on the people that you, received those grants and the people that have made applications to them?
We could do that.
You don't have to, but I'm asking you to.
There's no problem with that.
There's no problem with that?
I don't believe so. I'd have to check with the board, but I believe that should be fine.
Okay. Any more comments? Anybody else have any comments?
Yeah.
Mrs.
Don't mind.
Ms. Sickinger?
You notice a theme here, but for residents who aren't familiar with Irmo Growth, designed and created to support, foster small businesses in the town of Irmo. And, it's a virtuous circle, right? Where we support the businesses and the businesses end up supporting the town through hiring people and tax revenue and all those kinds of things. I'm excited to see where this goes, but this is just the second half of the previously already dedicated $250.
And thank you. Ms. Condon?
I'm with them.
Okay. Mr. Bush?
Yeah, we had a lot of discussion about this as well, and we obligated it. On a side note, we could probably fix a lot of sound systems with that, but I think it's being well spent in the town of Irmo, so.
I do too.
Okay. All right, any more comments? Seeing none, will the clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Ms. Condom,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Okay. Item F, approval to award contract to Candace Glover for entertainment for the Orchestra Festival not to exceed $4,400. Orchestra Commission, is there a motion for approval?
I so moved.
Ms. Condom, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Sickinger? Ms. Condon?
This lady, I read up on her because I thought I remembered, but I was not sure. But anyway, she won American Idol some years ago. And her career was sort of sidetracked by the pandemic. And she's getting back into it now. She has a very, very pretty voice. And I think this is as good a way as any is to put her on the orchestra stage. She sounds good. So I'm in favor of it.
Okay, Mrs. Sickinger?
That's a pretty good summary. I think this might be, like an inaugural kind of thing, up and comer and native of South Carolina, which is always a great thing. And I don't know if there's additional context from an Okra Strut representative that they might be able to give us, but I'm in favor.
Okay. Mr. Danielson?
Am I correct in assuming this is money that's not in the budget for the Okra Strut Commission? And this is an add-on?
No, I believe it's in their budget.
Yeah, we have the money for it, sir.
Oh, I didn't even see you there. I'm sorry.
No trouble.
Oh, that's fine.
either.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's fine. I was fine with it either way. I just wanted to really understand that. I don't know Ms. Glover, but
Come on, man, you're not with it?
no, I don't. I don't know anybody coming to this thing, but I'm going to be there to support them. So hopefully I'll know them when they leave.
All right. Any more comments? Oh, yes, you're going to say something.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
good.
put our trust in the Okra Strut Commission on the recommendation and just go with it. Just go with it.
Okay. I have one little thing.
Go ahead.
Okay, if I vote for this, will you get me Taylor Hicks?
Oh, interesting. I don't know that we could afford Taylor Hicks, but we will definitely put that into our list.
Who's Taylor Hicks?
He won early on.
Oh, okay.
But he was a roommate of my son-in-law. My son-in-law made me watch it, and made me vote, which I did.
Well, maybe the inside track then will help us support him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taylor Hicks. Okay. Any more comments? Huh?
Any additional notes from
What?
Do we have a representative, Mr. Mayor? Do you mind if we call the representative from the Okra Strut to see if they have any additional things?
We're about ready to give me some money. You want to mess it up by asking something?
How many followers on TikTok? Just kidding.
Sir, we're very excited about having Candace Glover. Since she is a South Carolina native, we feel that that's going to really bring a larger draw of audience members. Some folks from Charleston area might come up to see her because of her lineage.
Is this on Friday or Saturday?
She is on Friday.
Friday.
So she'll be opening for Terrence Young.
Okay.
Is she opening for the TikTok guy?
No, he's on Saturday. That's the one you really don't want to miss.
That's the
I know
one
you're going to be a fan.
I hope so.
You already have TikTok downloaded on your phone, don't you?
No.
All right. Any more comments? Will the clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Ms. Condom?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Thank you. Approval to award contract to TC Pro Audio not to exceed $6,800 for the stage sound setup. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Sickinger is there. All right. I'm glad you're up there because I have a couple of points I'd like to talk to you about, and that is this TC Pro Audio is the preferred sound company for these bands for both nights, Friday and Saturday.
This was the sound and light and stage company that was recommended by the firm that represents two of the entertainers, Terrence Young and Candace Glover.
That's Friday night.
That's Friday night.
Okay,
but
what
they will
about-
be there for Saturday also.
And that's with the other band.
And they've been approved by both Sister Hazel and Cooper Allen.
Okay. And they're going to provide, it says here, manage and remove sound, lights, and stage items for the entertainment. That means that they're going to provide the stage hands?
They will, correct.
Okay. And the lighting is the biggest issue that I had last time.
Correct.
And these people will have a professional lighting system on stage?
Correct. They will have a professional lighting system. So, but
we
just
can see the artists.
to make a comment for that, and looking at the stage, you'll notice that the top of the stage roof extends to the very end of the stage, but the support system to hold that roof up sits back about 10 feet.
Right.
Because of the way that stage was designed, that 10-foot support system is where they have to lift up the stage lights in order to light that stage appropriately.
Right.
Which is why the fluorescent lights were turned on last time to light up the front of the stage. So we've talked with the performers and saying, hey, you can't go past this line, which moves them 10 feet back from the front of the stage. So the other option would be to spend additional money and add a floodlight system behind the seating area, which we'd have to build a platform to put the light above the guests.
No.
To be able to light the front of the performer if they move up to the front of the stage.
All right, now you're talking to a musician, okay?
Yes, sir.
You can buy a truss system and put it right in front of the stage goes right in front and eliminate everything on that stage. And that's part of the lighting system that I suspect, the professional lighting system I expect that these people will bring.
So
what I don't want to see, or what I didn't see, is when the artist basically stood where he was and he was completely in the dark, and that wasn't 10 feet behind the stage. That was right in the view of the, you know.
Right, it was right up towards the front of the stage.
Right.
Right.
They could illuminate that with the proper lighting equipment.
If we had a truss system sitting out front of the stage,
We don't have to have it. The lighting company the sound company has to bring that truss system and set it up. If they're not able to do that, then we need to bring a system in that can.
Which we have looked at, which is quite a bit more expensive than what we have budgeted, allowed in our budget.
How much more expensive was it?
Just a brief phone call earlier this week, between $4,000 and $5,000 more.
Just for the lighting system?
For the truss system.
Right, and the sound system?
And then the lighting system, to build a truss system out front and then
Right.
have lights that shine right down.
Okay,
So
but they
currently right now, and if you'll help me out, because I'm not an engineer by any stretch of the imagination, setting up a truss system sitting out front of the stage, is there a way to anchor that at all? So, because there's nothing to attach it to up above.
Look, Sid Gaddis did it 10 years ago. This company that had Mother's Finest did it. They had a lighting system that illuminated the entire stage. It's not unreasonable. It's not out of the question. It can be done. The question is this company you're hiring for $6,800 going to be able to do the job? And if you tell me they can't, and it's going to cost an additional $4,000 to do it, then that means that item needs to be $10,000, not $6,800.
Right, because we didn't ask them to bring a truss system to build out.
Well, I'm not asking you to bring a truss system either. I'm saying I want an appropriate lighting system for a concert that you can see back and forth, front and back. That's what I'm asking for. And if these guys can't do it or don't have the equipment to do it, then I think we need to get another bid or another company that can do it. Or maybe you can talk to them and say, hey, this is what we're looking for.
We could certainly add that, and I could come back and ask for additional funds because we don't have the money budgeted for that.
Well, you can find out from the company if they can do it, right?
Oh yeah,
and
they
give
could
you a
do it.
line item.
Certainly, that.
But I didn't see that in the contract. You
Right.
sent us a contract.
When we bid out the contract, we didn't ask them for that system.
Well, I think we need to send that back and ask them about that because it was more frustrating than anything else. Is that we're here for the concert. You can't see the artist that's on stage either Friday night or Saturday. You know, we're talking 2 nights, and you got to cut on the stage floodlights. That's tacky and that's not professional. Okay. So I would. I'm not saying that we should vote this down, but I think we need to take this and defer this to the next meeting and have y'all go back.
I would ask that we approve this amount for what they've, the scope of what they've agreed to, and then let's make that trust system a separate.
No, this trust system needs to be a part of that contract. I don't want you to have a separate contract and then they don't provide the appropriate system for both the sound and the light. You understand? It's not a hard thing to do. Just go back to them and say, hey, I want you to talk to you about the professional lighting system we need on both Friday and Saturday night. It's not a hard thing to do. They could do it.
I agree. I think they can
Okay,
do it.
so
We
this-
just didn't have the budget money to ask them to do it.
Okay, but that's fine, you didn't have the budget money, but we don't know what that budget number is unless you ask them to put it in this contract, and then come back to us, okay?
Right. So I asked them on the phone, and they said between $4,000 and $5,000.
Okay, great, but I'd like to see it in writing and on the contract.
Sure.
It's not on the contract right now.
Correct. It's
Okay.
not.
Okay, Mr.
Can I ask Whit if he can? So as far as this,
Let me shed a little light, maybe help everybody out. Previous contractor is no longer with us because he didn't do his job of getting the lighting out there. This is supposed to be similar to what we've done in the past. You don't need a truss system out front. You can get it all done from where they bring the lights up.
And I agree.
Lights on there. There's no reason to spend that extra $4,000. If you got the lights, and these are supposed to be a better system than was there last overstrut.
It is a reason because it's not in the contract that they're gonna provide the appropriate lighting system for the show.
well, it does say that they will provide appropriate lighting system for the show. It doesn't say, however, that they'll build an additional truss outside of the stage. This company, we've explained, they've come and surveyed the site, and they're professionals, and they've said, we can light the stage for you.
Okay, so you're telling me if these people are prepared to provide the appropriate lighting system, with the contract that you provided me, that I read, that didn't specifically mention the lighting, that they are prepared to come and provide the professional lighting we need?
They are.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question?
Mr. Danison?
Yes, sir. Question, this thing started by having them step back, how many feet? 10 feet or something?
It's not that they have to stand back 10 feet. The light pole hangs 10 feet back.
Right, but they'd
from
be
the front
in
of the
darkness
stage.
if they're in front of the 10-foot.
I don't know the exact measurements of where they
Okay,
have
but
to stand.
but the musicians are all notified of that already?
Correct. We will mark the stage of where they shouldn't go forward.
And they can all fit behind that
And
comfortably?
They all can fit behind that. We've checked with each of the bands to say, this is how much space you have, and they've said, that's fine, we can work with that.
But then again, the further back they are, the more difficult it might be for people in the very front to see them, maybe?
I don't know. I think the seats are fairly well lifted.
Okay.
And they're far
I
enough.
just never
back
gave
from
it
the
any
front of the
thought, but-
stage. Yeah, I don't think that's.
Okay.
I don't think that's necessarily a concern.
Thank you.
I've never sat in the front row though, so I can't honestly tell you for sure.
Mr. Bush? Oh, did I skip over you? Mr. Bush?
It sounds like you've done your due diligence on this, so, thank you.
Ms. Condon? Okay. Will the clerk read a roll, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Ms. Condom,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
No. Okay. Approval to authorize the mayor to bid on a Blowfish County themed baseball jerseys. Did y'all get that email from the Blowfish? Y'all get that?
I don't remember getting it.
The Lexington County Blowfish, in conjunction with the
Dickerson Children's Advocate.
yeah, they're doing a fundraiser where they have these themed jerseys for each town in Lexington. I am emailing y'all, if you got your iPads. Eric, you were at the meeting when they mentioned it.
That's
At
correct.
At the Lexington County Municipal Association?
Yeah.
Kelly. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll move if someone wants a second for discussion.
I'll second.
Okay. I made a motion. Is there a second? You made a second?
Actually, technically, Mr. Bush said.
Okay, okay. All right. I just emailed you a copy of the theme. It's each town in Lexington has a jersey with their name on the back, and this is a nostalgia thing. You got it?
I will.
Okay. It's got each town on the back. Each one of these players, in fact, the player that wears the Irmo number 4 jersey is from the town of Irmo. He grew up here, went to USC, and now he's a member of the baseball team, the Lexington County Blowfish. After this game on the 30th, we'll be out of town, but after the game on the 30th, they're going to donate those jerseys to each specific town to hang up wherever we want to put it at. They're asking for bids on these things, and I'm saying, look, I'm not willing to be there for a live bid and be at the game, but I think we can just offer them $500 for that jersey, if you think so, if the town thinks so. Did you get a copy, Mr. Bush?
No, I wouldn't mind hearing about the Dickerson, the Advocacy Center, though, what we're supporting with it.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Danson, Mr. Sickinger? Well, you were at the meeting. You were referring to.
Yeah, I was, and it is the Dickerson. Am I saying that right? Children's Advocacy Center is out of Lexington, and it is for treatment services and whatnot for children, and it's a great organization. And if we're going to spend $500 on a bid, and we get a jersey out of it, we can frame and put up at the town hall. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Good.
Any more conversation?
Oh, that's good.
Okay. Clerk, read the roll, please.
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Ms. Condon?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Approval of purchase property at 1071 Lake Murray Boulevard. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Sickinger.
I'm always in favor of, is this going to be the world's smallest park?
No.
I'm just curious if there's, I understand, I read the admin notes on it, but I'm trying to understand what's happening with this park.
I can to you. Ms. Condon?
I understand your concern, but it's $5. Oh.
Let me jump in there and help you. The property is behind the Jiffy Lube on Lake Murray Boulevard. It's a little square piece of land that has a house on it that's abandoned. It's been abandoned since forever. When John Gibbons had the mobile oil change place, it was abandoned. The property is in disrepair, and the people that own the land want to basically give it to the town of Irmo for $5. Now, what we'll do with it, I personally know that the owner of Anchor Lanes wants to buy it. The owner of the music shop wants to buy it. But if they sell it to these people, they want a ridiculous amount, which is what they're not willing to pay. But they're willing to give it to the town for $5 in order to avoid the fees that they would be charged for having a dilapidated property. So once we get it, we'll have to either flip it or fix or clean it up. So I say get it, turn around and sell it to one of these two people that want to buy it for whatever amount we can negotiate it for, which I'm sure we can negotiate it for more than $5, and have them clean it up and be done with it.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Mayor. If we're going to take this on, we've got a liability scenario there. I'm sure we have a police hazard there. If we're going to do this, let's do it all at one time. Let's flip the property at the same time, have the contract in hand, and we don't ever take ownership of the property.
And that can happen.
And then
That can happen.
I think that's the way we should do it. That's the cleanest way. And they deed it to us at the same closing table. Jump in here, Mr. Lawyer, if you would. They go ahead, and then we go ahead and have that contract's already in place, and then we flip it to them, and we're done.
And assuming we have someone standing in the wings wanting to buy it like now,
We do.
we can do that.
We do.
Do we have a price that we have yet?
I don't know. You don't want me negotiating because I can't negotiate good prices.
Okay. If we have somebody wanting to buy it, then we can go to the same closing table. We take a deed and we give it to them. If they give us the deed,
Right.
they lose the obligation to clean it up, and they ought to be able to take some semblance of credit from a tax standpoint, which is good for them. It's a business in town.
Right.
They're citizens. If we can help them, help them. We take the deed, turn around at the same closing table, and sell it to whoever's going to buy it. It's a win-win for everybody.
And that's what the guy's prepared to do.
One of the things that I would recommend is that if we do sell it to a third party, which is great news, that we place in the contract, one of the terms is that the new purchaser has to immediately clean it up.
And he's willing to do that.
I don't doubt that at all.
He's more than happy to do that.
This will be a way to have the town make money, somebody be able to get a little bit of a tax break, somebody get some property he wants, and have an eyesore removed at the same time. It sounds like a win-win-win-win to me. So my recommendation would be let's get the potential closing on the table. Let's take it, flip it, and make some money and clean it up.
Okay. Cool. Any more comments? Mr. Bush?
Not to seem daft, but why would the owners want to give it to us for $5 so we could flip it for profit?
They would be able to, A, avoid the obligation to clean it up, but B, they should be able to claim some minuscule tax write-off. They give it to us, and they claim a donation to the town. They get something out of their property. It's not much.
Has anybody assessed that property to find out if Mr. Gibbons was dumping used motor oil there for the last 30 years?
Well,
it's going to be a super fun site that we clean up. Just checking. Have we looked at it?
We have not looked at that.
I think we need to look at it before we march forward.
Yes, sir. That would come with the negotiation part. Do our due diligence.
So we can vote yay on this and then.
Correct.
Do it. Okay.
What do you call it, super fun site?
With all due respect,
I don't think Mayor Gibbons.
I don't think. I understand.
All right, any more comments? Any more conversation? Will the clerk read the roll, please?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, don't we have to amend this motion?
I'm sorry,
Don't we have to amend this motion?
to purchase the property? You mean have the other guy there?
To take the acceptance of the property while we simultaneously have a contract? That's all I'm saying. I'm not really sure.
We'll make a motion, I don't know.
I mean, that would be my motion,
Okay, to,
Amend it.
that we amend this item so that we would accept it for the $5, subject to having done our due diligence and having a contract to close simultaneously.
Okay.
I will second that.
okay, well, wait a minute now, who's gonna pay for that contractor to do the Superfund certification? I mean, is that what you're asking for? It is? Okay. I don't know. I'm just saying, okay. No problem. Okay. It's been motioned to amend it to what Mr. Danielson said. Is there a second? All right, Mr. Second, and this is on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment? Well, will the clerk read a roll on the amendment, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Ms. Condon,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yay.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. All right, it's been properly motioned and amended. Now, this is a motion to accept the pay for the sum of $5. Will the clerk read a roll on that, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Ms. Condon,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yay.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Okay, got it. Bob, we're gonna coordinate that, and I'll give you the name of the potential third person, okay? All right. Approval to close portions of St. Andrews Road, is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have to amend that,
September 24th and 25th.
right. Is there a motion for that amendment? Oh, you made the motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right, all in favor of the amendment, will the clerk read a roll, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Ms. Condon,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yay.
and Mayor Walker.
Yay, okay, and then mentions some motion on closing the roads for the orchestra. Is there any conversation? Seeing none, clerk read a roll, please.
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Ms. Condon,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yay.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. All right, where did our attorney go?
He's at the spring foot and body massage.
Shut- That was really bad. Huh?
We have to schedule a hearing, is that what it is, Bob? We have to schedule a hearing, is that what we have to do? So is this the official hearing, or is it, we have to another, okay.
Mayor, we do have a resolution of the problem we have for council.
Wait a minute, let me put it on the floor, hold on a second. Is there a motion for a hearing to revoke the business license of the Spring Foot and Body Massage?
So moved.
Mr. Sickinger, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Bush, okay, Mr. Moore.
Mr. Danielson.
Oh, I'm sorry, you made a second? See, I couldn't tell you. Sorry, Mr. Danielson made the second.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
the owner of this particular business is here tonight. She speaks absolutely no English at all. We have been talking to her throughout the meeting, and we have been speaking with her attorney, who has done an excellent job in representing her. It's a bad situation. We have reached an accord, and the chief has been involved in these negotiations, and he also agrees. My understanding is that the holder of the business license tonight will permanently surrender the business license to the town and will no longer do business within the town of Irmo. The lease is up the end of the month, and by the end of the month, any furniture, furnishings, and the like in the building will be removed. The chief has also agreed, and he has struggled with this and worked with this, but has also agreed that the criminal charges in the municipal court will be null prost. Issues such as forfeiture or any of that of some of the items seized will be for a later date. We will have to work that out later. So there will be a null process of the criminal charges, a surrender of the business license. The matter is basically deemed over from the town's standpoint. Everyone understands that we have no control over the federal government, the immigration, or anything else. But as far as the town of Irmo is concerned, business has stopped, business will not resume. The business license has been surrendered. The criminal charges will be null processed, and the forfeiture issues will be addressed at a later date in a way I hope and believe I hope we can work out. We'll see. I would like to thank counsel, who has done a great job for her client. The lady is here. She has a gentleman who has been attempting to translate through use of a telephone translator, and he's done a gorgeous job in speaking with her. I have no doubt but that she understands and is in agreement with the recommendation. So my recommendation at this point in time is that the council simply vote to accept the agreement, that the chief makes certain that the business is vacated by the end of the month, and that from that point we deal with any other issues that are out there with forfeiture. Thank you. And I think the only thing
You're the attorney?
Yes, sir. Vicky Kutsianis with James Snell's office.
Vicky Kutsianis?
Yes, sir.
Are you okay with that?
Of course, Your Honor, and I appreciate Mr. Moore being very diligent in putting the entirety of the agreement on the record. Yes, sir. And I would just like to state that.
Please speak in the mic.
Okay, I'm sorry. I usually talk loud enough, so I just would like for everybody to be clear that we did not have an official translator today, but we, of course, have been relying on this very sophisticated app on the phone. We took our time in sort of rephrasing and gave her every opportunity to ask the right questions to myself as well as her friend. As far as what we're here for today, she does understand the fact that she's surrendering her license voluntarily, and I appreciate everyone's cooperation. The criminal charges in the town of Irmo are being dismissed, and that is all we were here to decide today, and she is in agreement.
Okay. You okay with that, Chief?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right. Any council have any questions? Council, Mr. Bush or Mr. Danielson?
You were
Mr.
looking at me. No questions, but except perhaps just procedure. Should we just table it? Because I don't know, we're not really voting on,
No.
Based on this, we're not really voting, we're not going to vote on this anymore.
Right, we're not revoking the license, he's turning it in.
Right.
So.
I mean, I don't necessarily want to.
Make
Oh,
a
yeah, all right.
It's not table, the table is,
Yeah, well, if we table and it doesn't come back, according to Robert's rules, if we table it, it's not on the next
Table it,
agenda,
it's
then it's
gone.
gone.
That's correct. If
So-
you come back to it tonight, it's gone.
I move to
Okay.
table the motion on the floor.
I second it.
okay? It's a motion properly moved and second that we table it. Will the clerk read the roll, please?
Yay.
All right. Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Ms. Condom,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. We brings us down to presentation by citizens. This is a portion of the meeting where you can come and address council on anything that you heard tonight, anything that you want us to know about. Ms. Evans, you want to come up and speak to us about that? Pull that mic down. Thank you.
I apologize for coming up earlier. Again, I thank you for the use of your building last month for our first meeting. The Irmo community is now requesting a place in the Irmo strut so that we can present our baked goods. We also ask for tables and chairs if possible.
Okay, there's a guy back there in a green shirt. Raise your hand. There you go. He's the chairman of the Orchestra Commission.
Okay.
If you get with him, I'm sure you can work out any details you need.
And he just gave you a thumbs up, so I think that's a good sign.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else to address council?
I'm Wade Deloach with Irmo Outreach, 156 Finsbury Road. I want to thank council and the town for the support in our last event over here at Tribal Coffee. And also another thing I want to talk about tonight that I've seen going for probably, I don't know, a couple of years. This thing where town keeps coming up with property to be bought and sold. I really don't have a problem with it. I appreciate y'all's input and your understanding and knowledge of all of it. But I think all the way back to where the key place up here that used to be the old jail cell. And it got sold for $50,000. And then a couple months later, it became the town center, which really upped the value a little bit. But my thoughts are, and y'all can talk about it between each other, this thing of getting property, and it seems like nobody else in town knows what's going on, that's being bought and sold. I mean, like, for instance, tonight, you talked about the property that the town's going to get for $5, and already, before anybody else knows it, you already know 2 people who are interested in it. And that's fine, I mean, but is it fair to the rest of town, if you got a piece of property, should they have a fair shot at it too if they're interested in it? But I can understand a little parcel of property beside a house, it does nobody else any good. But if a property should be above a certain value, say like, I don't know, you can put a number on it, $10,000 or whatever, maybe that should go out to public bid. If it's under $10,000, no big deal. But like the $50,000 property that went to one individual and nobody else had a chance to even know about it or bid on it, I just don't think that was fair. But, property below it, where y'all come up with your own sum, whatever you think. But if it's below $10,000, y'all go ahead and do what you want to do. But if it's above $10,000, maybe it should be bidded out. That's just my thoughts.
Thanks, Wade.
What was that? You showing something, man? You got videos you're showing people?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, since I actually during the meeting sent an email to our town administrator on exactly that. So
Sidebar?
Yeah.
Was that a secret meeting? No. Oh, okay. Yes.
We have an executive.
Yes.
Okay, just thank you. Just check.
Yes.
We also have a presentation.
We also have presentation by citizens.
Yes. Just last.
Wait a minute. Who are you? What's your name?
Hello. My name is Shelby Lee Henriksen. I reside at 306 Shillingford Road, and I'm a special education teacher. I moved here to Irmo, South Carolina to open Pace Academy, a charter school for students with reading disabilities. I'm here today because I purchased my first home on June the 3rd, and before I could even put my key in the door, my neighbor asked, "Did you just buy this house? And did they tell you what happens when it rains real hard?" Unfortunately, I was not told. On the 20th of June, 17 days after my closing date, after 40 minutes of hard rain, I was able to witness the severity of what my neighbor had mentioned. My entire yard was underwater, a stream. I hadn't even made my first payment yet. The seller answered no on seller's disclosure number 20 through number 23, which are all related to water, drainage, flooding, and erosion. The neighbor stated that the sellers knew of these flooding issues. Not one of the local professionals I hired mentioned any sign of a problem or shared the history of the property with me through the entire process of buying this home. Every day since the 20th of June, I've acquired more evidence that this has been a well-documented problem in this community. In addition to all concerns mentioned, I'm now also concerned about mold, particularly because I have chronic asthma. Following that day, I posted in Citizens of Irmo and Surrounding Friends on Facebook as well as Nextdoor. I had well over 100 responses providing all sorts of information. The most notable was the next day when Whit Klein stopped by and told me the house had had this ongoing problem since he took the position 20 years ago. He told me if I were his daughter, he would tell me to get out of this house. The problems this property has are not of which I could fix. He then directed me to the YouTube video that David Charneski had posted of the flood on July 5th, 2015. Keep in mind, this was not the big flood of 2015, in October when everyone flooded. After seeing this video, I contacted David Charneski. According to him, he tried to sell the property honestly, disclosing the flooding issues. He could not sell the house. He foreclosed on the property, giving up approximately $80,000 in equity. His hope was that the property would not be conveyed, but now I have even more money out at a purchase price of $200,000. This house should never have been approved to be built here. According to Mr. Charneski, the house was built on a retention pond, and according to floodfactor.com, it is at the intersection of 2 floodplains. There was already a study completed by Dennis Engineering that shows that there is nothing that can be done with this property until the drainage by both the interstate and Broad River are increased. The best option I see for everyone involved, including my neighbors, is for the town of Irmo to buy this property back and turn it back into a water retention pond. It's a no-brainer. I'm seeking help, advice, recommendations, assistance, and coming to an acceptable resolution for all involved parties. I need to get out of this house. At this point, all of mine and my father's savings went into buying this house, and I do not have additional funds to hire an attorney. And it appears the only way for me to get out of this house is to hire an attorney, even in a situation as blatant as this. If anyone has any questions, I'm available.
Who was the seller? Was it the bank?
I bought the house from Timothy Pike. He bought it from somebody named Dennis DeRemus, who bought it out of foreclosure from the bank. It was bought out of foreclosure and then flipped, sold to the person who sold it to me. I'm working to find out if it was disclosed to the person who sold.
That's what I'm gonna. Was there a disclosure? There was.
It was not disclosed to me. They marked no. For all 4 of those questions, and I have the exact wording of those questions available.
Because somebody should have disclosed it.
Yes, ma'am. And whether it be the inspector, the realtor, the closing attorney, I moved here from Charlotte, North Carolina to start the school, so I didn't know the area. So, any other questions or recommendations, please feel free to reach out to me.
What, we have your number?
Yes. My phone number is...
Well, you don't have to tell us.
Oh.
Just tell her. I don't want the
Thank you, guys.
I don't want the entire world to know. Anybody else? Seeing none, presentation by citizens is closed. We have a discussion item. Mr. Danielson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the tire location, St. Andrews Road across from Bergen Roofing. We've discussed it a few times, but never really did anything formally on it. I understand that you had some conversations with the owners, the current owners, and it came to my attention through Stuart Mungo, who the first thing I kind of really realized about it was he sent me an email telling me how disappointed he was that the town couldn't figure out a way to make this thing work with his contributions and with Mr. Bergen's contributions and with as a group effort. So that's why I wanted to have the discussion tonight, so we kind of get on the same page. Given the things we're trying to do in the town of Irmo that are real estate driven, such as trying to build a Main Street type corridor, some of the things that we're looking at, some of the other acreage by the park. My gut feeling is it's never good to for lack of a better term, alienate the biggest developer in South Carolina who may be able to help us do some of this stuff. So I promised him that I would bring it up and that we would discuss it and we would try to figure out a way to make this happen. My understanding, frankly, from talking to people was that their price is a little high, but we ought to be able to put a team effort together. And the reason it works is we can then we can put it with the railway. We can have parking, make it a business park. Not a business park. I'm sorry. Make it either a park or a parking lot that was nicely landscaped. Apparently, Mr. Bergen is willing to put money in every year to do that. He's willing to put money in to acquire it. Mr. Mungo is willing to put money in along with us to acquire it and just to beautify the area and continue that bike path, walk path that we're thinking about with the railway. So that's my reason for bringing it up. I want to do everything I can do to work with Mr. Mungo to see what we can do to solve this and to beautify that neck of the woods. And it will be in the town. It's my best understanding.
Two things. First of all, that property is not in the town of Irmo. Second thing is, if they're willing to put money into it, I don't see why we have to get involved with that process. If you said Mr. Bergen and Mr. Mungo has ideas of making that a parking lot, taking this guy's business and shutting it down and making the parking lot, beautifying that corner, which is an admirable thing. But I don't understand why you would say that we're alienating one of the biggest developers in Irmo when it's something that he wants to do. I'm not saying we're not going to do it, but it's not in the town limits. And you're asking us to spend money to buy it so that we can make a parking lot out of it, and it's going to be more than $10,000. We just knocked down paying $10,000 for a sound system. I'm sure we're going to spend more than $10,000 to buy this guy's property.
Did we have any conversations with the owners of that property to buy it?
No, the town, no, we did not. The town had no conversations about buying anything. No.
There was no negotiation that went on?
Not on behalf of the town, no.
I've got
So I don't know,
I got multiple people and just flat not telling me the truth.
I don't know.
I remember us deciding to buy it because of, because of the location regarding some other plans we had in the future for.
Yeah, for that bike trail.
Yeah, for the bike trail. I remember that. But didn't we tell Jake to do that?
No, the bike trail didn't happen.
No.
We don't have that.
I understand, but I thought we did. I could be wrong.
We did, and I remember Mr. Mayor saying that he knew the owners and he would talk to them. That's what I remember.
Well, you're mistaken. You didn't hear that from me. You might have heard them saying that, but you didn't hear me negotiating on behalf of the town. Mr. Bush, did you have a comment? Mr. Sickinger?
I think we could probably take this into a workshop and discuss it again.
Sure.
I think we've done it before and probably need to discuss it one more time and find out what the next steps are, what should or shouldn't go forward.
Mr. Sickinger? Okay. Well, that's fine. We can put it on the workshop agenda if you'd like to. But, if you're saying that you want to buy a piece of a business that's outside the town limits to make a parking lot out of it for something that we don't have anything to do with. We don't have access to that walking trail. We don't have any of that. So that, to me, that's public money that we don't need to be spending. But that's just my opinion.
Well, maybe my misunderstanding was that we were gonna get a hold of that walking trail. ICRC was getting the property because we couldn't get the property. ICRC's getting the property, and then they're gonna let us annex that property and help them with a walking trail. That's the whole game plan. Where did I come up
I don't
with
know.
this?
I don't know where that's coming from. If that's something that y'all.
Does anybody on this council want to speak up here?
So I'm speaking to you. I don't have to have anybody.
And I'm telling you,
I'm
that's
telling you,
I'm
that's
telling
not what I
you.
heard. This is news to me.
We
If
discussed
had
this
that,
at length.
We discussed
length,
it
we
at
discussed
length,
this.
and we found out that we couldn't annex the property. We
Okay.
could not get the walking trail.
Well,
Hence, when you can get the walking trail, that means that that little piece of property has no value to us, and it's not in the town
of
limits.
course it has value to us. If we get the walking trail, then we have a place for the people to park their cars so they can ride the bike.
Did you just tell me that Irmo Shape and Recreation
Point of
Commission got the
order.
walking trail?
I'm pretty sure this wasn't on the agenda. Is this an acceptable time to discuss this?
No, it's a discussion item, and I'm
discussion
discussing it
item.
with
All right.
Okay, I mean, that's what we said. So,
All right, well,
you want to put it on the workshop, we can do that. You want to do that?
I mean, I think this needs to be discussed in the workshop.
sure.
That's
We'll
fine.
put it in a workshop and we'll bring in the people who had these conversations. Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? Seeing none, okay, we have an executive session we've added. Is there a motion to go into executive session for a contractual matter?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been properly moved in section. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're not going to take any votes. Jake, will you come into this executive session? Bob, you can stay out here.
Can you believe it sold the house?
That sounds like some good pro bono work for you.
What thank you, sir, for your.
Hey, did you watch that rocket take off today? $200 million for 10 minutes.
that was not the question. The point is how can you go back?
There's a law that says you gotta put your seatbelt on when you leave here too. What's wrong with
Correct,
that?
but you can't arrest me because I didn't wear a seatbelt 20 years ago. You can't write me a ticket for 20 years ago when I wasn't.
Correct, but if you do it
That's the
today,
issue.
you can.
Right, if I do it today. If I built a house today and put a pool in it, and I don't put a fence around it, I get it. But if I built a pool 30 years ago and I wasn't required to have a fence at that point, I don't agree with you saying now you have to have a fence. I'm not arguing for me, I'm arguing for other people that
But
have
I'm sure
pools.
there was a lot of people who said, hey, I don't wanna wear a seatbelt right now, but when they go out, I didn't wear a
Sure,
seatbelt
my
20
mother's
years ago,
85,
but
she
I got
hasn't
to
worn
wear
a
one
seatbelt her entire life.
Exactly, so what's
Every
the
time she
difference?
comes to Irmo, I call him and say, look for my mother's car, she's not wearing her seatbelt.
So what's the difference?
But they just keep giving her warnings because she's 85 years old. She's gonna be dead anyways. But, you know,
She's
that's.
married to a police officer slash a trainer. So that's why she's picking at you.
Is he in a- is he in a-
No.
Yeah, I just don't, you know, get it for now.
But we do laws like that all the time. Is the grass cut long?
They're all wrong. They're all wrong, Bob.
Can I just have a side note, this is like my house, barely outside of the town limits, in the county, by the way.
We'd be over at her house.
That's the.
Yes, you would, because I still need my grass cut with.
You got all kinds of excuses for not having that grass cut.
When? I got stumps 5 times, by laws.
Billy did it for not cutting grass. She did do it down the block. Right, Dad, yell at that. You got to go check him out. Oh, yeah. County.
If you sit in the county house, I'm getting you.
The county is not gonna care.
Yeah, what would you do?
You want to bet?
Lexington County doesn't care if she cuts her grass.
Man, I must send them to your house. How about
I don't see, Lexington County
No, I mean, it looks
doesn't
like just the
care.
gate needs to be 48 inches, the rest of the fence can be whatever.
Lexington County does not care.
I can put a 48-inch gate, just like,
just like
just like
Pearl.
string and
Tell
stuff.
you why I say that. I pass properties and places all the time, and I actually live in Lexington.
Keeps turtles out.
Depends on what zone you live in. She lives in.
I don't know, I just,
This is all about.
She is not gonna
I
live.
get it. I agree. Somebody who has a bullshit in place. That's not the argument. The argument
If
is,
she lives in a
they built
zone,
it 30 years ago. It
Because
wasn't
she
required
doesn't.
then.
You know what? Why don't you try me a law guy, and I'll give the guy.
Well, yeah, I don't know who we're talking about here. It's the issue. They all seem to have an address that they knew somebody.
Lexington County is not, it's not like it's one of those zones that they're gonna require.
It mentions there's now a second, but they're above ground anyway, which still are violations.
They're out there, because I've seen them.
That's the thing. People that put in a
The one up by Eric's
don't
house.
have to go to their insurance company to
There's
have
one
it.
up on, somebody can fall.
Well, I can go to Walmart and I can buy a dog pool for $300, put it up. I don't have to do anything. There's no construction, there's no nothing. So,
Not no more.
I thought you already had it.
Not 48 inches.
all right, I'm not saying the rest of this surface.
All right, bye. I'll be in touch.
Okay, yeah.
I thought you did festivals. I thought you did festivals.
I do festival, that'll be surface. I hate coming to these things. I get butterflies 2 hours before I get here.
Really?
I despise it. I just really don't like it. And just even the little, you know, argument that Danielson and they were having tonight was just reminiscent of years ago when I watched the good old days when all they did was yell and
So we
scream.
actually saw popcorn and drinks back.
No, it's not pleasant. Why would anybody want to come and see it?
You know, that's what most people watch on reality TV, right?
keep it under the.
Play chess, not.
Yeah.
Play chess, not Roman gladiator.
Yes, ma'am.
Play chess. Play chess, not Roman gladiator.
Or Greco-Roman.
Greco-Roman.
There it is.
That we know of.
Chess, chess.
We are back from our executive session. The votes are taken. Is there any other business in town? Oh, yes. We have a August 3rd National Night Out. I wanted to make sure that y'all know that. Anybody at home who's watching that, the police department, IPD, the great IBD, is going to put on a heck of a show. We're going to have hot dogs, and we're going to have a helicopter. We're going to have a bunch of stuff. I want y'all all to come. Everybody who's watching, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned.